Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. I'd like to thank everyone for attending our regular board meeting in February. Public portions of this board meeting are being recorded in accordance with District Policy 1420 and Section 2-2-214 MCA. By remaining in this meeting, all participants and attendees acknowledge they may appear on the recording, which will be placed on the school district's website for a minimum of 1 year from the date of the meeting. Anyone wishing to speak on an agenda item, please fill out the pink sheet and located at the end of the table and return it to the board secretary as soon as possible. And our first item on our agenda is the approval of minutes from the regular board meeting of January 21, 2025. Motion for the trustees. Thank you, sir. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any changes or questions on these minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Approval of minutes from special board meeting on January 21, 2025. Motion from trustees?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any changes or questions on these minutes? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. At this time, I would like to, oh, wait a minute. We're way ahead of myself, sorry. Butte Career Center presentation from Miss Melissa Johnson, Interim Special Education Director. Miss Johnson.
Right. So I brought some paperwork. If anybody wants to see it, all the paperwork that ties into all the programs I'm going to talk about today. There's a copy of all that there. There, okay. And I talk. So. All right. So I am the Interim Special Ed Director at the Butte Career Center currently. So start with one of the job duties is adult basic ed. Currently, we had just applied about a month and a half ago to bring in a low pressure boilers class to try to get some of the engineers certified and help our community bring in some more. So currently we have 4 students enrolled in our class. It also helps people that if they went and took the boilers test and failed the boilers test, they can come to the adult basic ed program and Jake and I can help them study for the test to try to retake it and pass that, which will hopefully help us maybe find some engineers in our school district and bring in some workers. Next is our HiSET program. We have currently 65 students enrolled. We currently have had 9 students pass their HiSET this school year. Post-tested, we have 7 students, so they have made some gains. They pre-tested on the TABE, have 60 hours come back to post-test with us, and 7 of those students have shown gains in that. And then we have 5 with educational functional gains, which means that they may already have their HiSET or their diploma, but they need to bring up a level of to get into the Highlands, or they do not want to take basic level courses and not really mean anything at college, but lose some money. They'll come work with us and show those gains so they can go out to the Highlands or Montana Tech or wherever and take the test, hopefully to test out of those basic classes. We're currently working with Action Inc., CCCS, the Spirit Home, Montana Youth Challenge, Express Employment, the Native American Wellness Center, the Marine Corps, and the U.S. Army on trying to get some referrals for our program. And Riley's here today from the Wellness Center also to try to work together a little bit, because when we get to it, I do Title VI also, which would also ties into this. Adult community ed. So this is our night school classes right now going on. We have 21 classes offered currently, same as in the fall. 263 students were in the fall, 222 in the winter. We are going to look at moving it back a little bit next year due to the weather. This is a hard time for older people to get out. And we usually start right after Christmas break. So we're going to look at moving that back a little, just from talking to some of the students in these classes. They love these classes. I mean, same ones they call asking us when the applications are going to be out, and there's a copy of that in there. And currently Keith is the administrator that goes to these at night to supervise, and then Courtney, Martinich, and I are the ones that do all the paperwork to get to that point. Butte High Career Center. So we did the SOS on January 13th. We have the ASVAB scheduled for February 25th. We kicked off the defined curriculum last week with everybody taking their assessments for career base. We had Title IX training with Karen last week, and we have 7 potential graduates right now at the Career Center. So we're excited about that. The JMG program, and Ms. Paul's here today also. They've been volunteering in the clothing drive. They made cookies with the Crossroads kids in our school. They're doing a Canva project where they put all the information, calling places in our community on what's going on at the Orphan Girl, at the YMCA, different places in our community. They made a PowerPoint, and then we're going to share that at the Butte High games on a television that I got through OPI, and let community members see what's going on at our school that's a positive, plus helping people that do not maybe have Facebook or those things, let them know while they're at the Butte High games or different things what's going on. They also helped with the grandparent program and did some gift baskets for them one night and had a great turnout of kids coming at night to help. And they went to the LEAD conference also. Crossroads. So right now we have 21 students in Crossroads. We have 2 kids that actually transferred back to East full-time this year. So that's a big perk for us. And these students helped make some holiday cookies with all alternative kids this school year. And then Shoes for the Soul. Currently, I work with Mary Kay a little bit more on this. We have 26 shoes being given out this school year. We have monthly donors, are Catherine and Judy. Every month they send a donation for the program, and 100% of those proceeds go right back to the kids. There's no underlying cost of it otherwise. And then Universal Athletics gives me a 20% off the shoes, so I can get them at a lower rate, because I used to work with Payless, so Universal's quite a bit more expensive, but they do work with me on that. And then Homebound, I have 16 students on Homebound. Second semester seems to perk up. We get a lot of kids that do not pass first semester and they think Homebound might be the solution. So we're trying to kind of weed those out or get kids back on track. So they fill out the application. I usually touch base with the parent, let them know what the program looks like, and then I touch base with my Homebound teachers, and then they go and work with the student 2 or 3 times a week at a local school. We're no longer going to the homes after the dog issue, when one of the teachers got bit by a dog. And so we've been just meeting at a local school, Starbucks, public library in the mall, or at the public library. And then Medicaid. So right now the self-contained teachers and paras are doing personal care plans for each kid that needs more supports than our average school day, diaper changing, feeding, personal hygiene things. Those are all through their personal care plan that a doctor has to sign off on, comes back to us, and then we bill it through the Medicaid. We're bringing back Random Moments. They went with a different system. So starting April 1st, Random Moments will come, and that's when a random sheet of paper comes to a teacher that provides services to special ed students, and they fill it out what they're doing at that time. And then that all runs through Chris Renz. Support services, so that's OT, PT, speech. They also can bill all this into the Medicaid system after filling out the form. So Chris and I are working on that currently. Special Olympics basketball, we got the gold. We had 9 athletes go to Helena, and they earned some gold medals. Corey also did skills herself, and she earned a gold medal doing skills. Bowling, we had 28 bowlers, so we have way more bowlers than basketball players, and a lot of gold medals at Star Lanes this last year. And we will do an event in May for the track. Unified Champion Schools. So currently we have Butte High, East, Kennedy, West, Emerson, Whittier, and Hillcrest are all Unified Champion Schools. So we have a liaison in all those schools doing activities to try to do group activities in those schools. East obviously got nationally recognized. They do the basketball, which is a big thing for the kids. They do cooking class, they do gym class, they do art class where it's all unified. Seems to be going really well at their level. Butte High is doing it in the PE classes and some of the art classes. We also have Cody Dunmeyer has 2 athletes that are going to do MHSA track this year through the Unified Champion schools. So it's super great. They made signs for the Unified teams, made signs for the basketball. So we do art club, book shares. Inclusion week is going to be in March. So it's kind of like homecoming week, but it's inclusion week, and we have that in March. East usually does like a chili cook-off or cookies. It's BDI in kind is what it is the week is set around. This year we're going to do Sweats Day on February 26th, where you can bring $1 and teachers can wear sweats, and all the proceeds are going to go back to this Unified Champion Schools program. And right now, for West, it just got recognized, and they're going to be nationally certified school too. So once we get some information on that in March or April, they will have everybody come in and do the banner and hang the banner at West. And that's Sarah Steffen, Amanda Denny, and Pat Kissel were all part of that nationally certification there. So that will happen for them also. Then Title VI, so that's the federal Native American. I just actually submitted our first part today. We've done, working with Riley, we've done some lessons, we've done crafts, we've done history, we have some guest speakers. They're trying to get a Native Youth Educational Attainment Program and also do some graduation acknowledgements for students that are part of their program. We are also looking at, Ron and I are purchasing some maps. I attend a monthly meeting for the youth in the community. And also once a year, I have a parent meeting trying to see what we can do to bring more of this into our schools. But Riley's been wonderful right now working with the youth and trying to promote more of that, the supports they have in our community. Like they have beading and dinners and free healthcare for the students and mental health supports and all these things up at this, the Native Wellness Center. And then PREETS. So PREETS is our vocational rehab program. Right now we have 86 high school students enrolled in the PREETS program. We have to do a contract at the beginning. I write the contract and submit it. Then every quarter I have to do quarterly data on each student that's in services in job, these 5 areas for job exploration, work-based learning, and then counseling, readiness training, and then self-advocacy. And then Dorothy Joyce works really closely with me on that, being that she's at the high school. So that program has really grown, and we're trying to get more going. They go work in the schools, clean the lunch tables to see what more we can do with them, with the program. And then CSDT, Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch. Right now they service all schools but Butte High and Whittier. And we have full staff at most everywhere except Margaret Larry and Webster are not full staff through them. We just have behavioral specialists. And then Western Montana Mental Health is full staffed in Butte High and in Whittier. And then lastly, we're currently, the YMCA is using our building from 4:30 to 9 every night from February 1st to May 1st for YMCA basketball. Currently, there's over 100 athletes using our gym weekly from kindergarten to 2nd grade. They practice and play there every single night of the week. When I just left, they were all heading in. So it's been very used widely, and they'll be starting volleyball probably March 1st. Those are all the programs currently, I guess, district programs that I'm doing for school district and at Webster. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Johnson? I just want to thank you very much.
Yeah.
You are a busy lady, along with your busy students. Thank you.
Yes.
Madam Chairman, I want to just thank you and commend Mrs. Johnson for all the hard work that she has done this year. It's been remarkable, and I appreciate everything.
Again, thank you, Ms. Johnson. Appreciate it. Between you and between the other Susan Johnson and Melissa Johnson, you two are doing a wonderful job.
Johnson Complex.
Yes. All right, Ms. Jonart, first reading and review policy 3150.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, before you is policy 3150, part-time attendance. Changes of that is, our old policy, stated that, part-time attendance was for just 9 through 12. State law says that it's, we have to allow for part-time students, for all students K-12. So, in accordance with policy 3110 that we already have, the district will review requests for part-time enrollment of resident students for purposes of academic courses on a case-by-case basis, with the building principal making a preliminary decision pursuant to the criteria set forth in this policy. Denial of part-time of enrollment may be appealed pursuant to the policy 1700 uniform grievance policy. Admission of non-resident students on a part-time basis shall be governed in accordance with our policy 3141. The criteria for accepting the students K through 12 has not changed. It's still those 4 criteria. And then the only other change is that the district may secure A and B for part-time enrollees in accordance with policy 3121. The cross references for this policy has changed, and they include 3510 school-sponsored activities, policy 3121 enrollment and attendance, and the policy 3141 non-resident enrollment. Also, there's a legal reference change. It's chapter 27, 2023 enrollment on a part-time basis, which was put in law after the 23 legislative session.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions, Ms. Jonard? Next is the first reading and review of policy 3210, equal education, non-discrimination, and sex equity. Ms. Jonard.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, that this is our equal education, non-discrimination, and sex equity policy. The changes to this policy is the addition of the language in the first paragraph. No student will be denied equal access to programs, activities, services, or benefits, or be limited in the exercise of any right, privilege, or advantage, or denied equal access to education and extracurricular programs and activities. Other changes in the next paragraph: inquiries regarding sexual harassment, sex discrimination, or sexual intimidation should be directed to the district Title IX coordinator, to the Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights of the Department of Education, or both. The board designates the following individual to serve as the district's Title IX coordinator, which is Karen Ali, and her name is on that, and her contact information is on the policy. Basically, what was changed in that paragraph, at the old language had that they were to file a complaint through the uniform grievance procedure, and that's not how we file sexual harassment. So that language was changed. It also further indicates that inquiries regarding discrimination on the basis of disability or requests for accommodations should also be directed to the district section 504 coordinator, and the board designates the following individual to serve as the district section 504 coordinator for adults. And again, that's Karen Alley with her contact information on the policy. New language also adds: any individual may file a complaint alleging violation of this policy. Policy 3200 student rights and responsibilities, policy 3225 and 3225P sexual harassment, or policy 3226 bullying, harassment, intimidation, hazing, by following those policies, or policy 1700 uniform complaint procedure. The district it also adds the language: the district, in compliance with federal regulations, will notify annually all students, parents, and staff and community members of this policy, and the designated coordinator to receive inquiries. This annual notification will include the name and location of the coordinator and will be included in all handbooks. Then there are cross references, including the 1700 policy, 2158 family and community engagement, 3200 students' rights and responsibilities, and 3225 sexual harassment, intimidation of students. There were 3 legal references that needed to be updated. 105581 arms, school climate, 1055-802 opportunity and educational equity, 1055-803 learner access. And those were the changes to that policy.
Thank you. Any questions? First reading and review of policy 3226, hazing, harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Ms. Jonah.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, there is just a few changes to this policy of 3226. The first is the actual title of the policy. It reads Student Protection Prohibition on Hazing, Harassment, Intimidation, and Bullying. That was the change. And then there were changes to the cross references that included policy 2158, family and parental engagement, and then legal references. They added Title 20, Chapter 1, Part 2, MCA, certain district policies prohibited. 452307, Montana Code annotated, discrimination in education, and Chapter 256, 2023, discrimination in education. And those were the only those were the legal references that needed updating.
Thank you, ma'am. Any questions? All right, Ms. Jonah, moving on to employee recognition.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'm really wanted to take this afternoon or this evening and praise one of our, we have great staff, but I wanted to recognize Ali Keltz from the payroll department. She has created a tool, a TRS stipend calculator, it's called, and it's a tool created that allows districts to calculate TRS wages for coaches. This tool or this spreadsheet that she created simplifies the task of determining when wages are reported. And basically all districts will now be, all they will have to do now is kind of do a plug and play, plug in a few numbers, and then using this spreadsheet that she created, they'll know when it is when wages have to be reported, and can be, when wages have to be reported to the TRS are not always black and white, and it gets complicated. And so she created this tool, and TRS is going to use this statewide. And I just wanted to recognize for her effort for going beyond, above and beyond, and just appreciate that work that she does, and recognize that the state is also going to use her work.
Thank you, ma'am. That's very nice. Update on the STARS Act. I have both you and Kevin, if that's right. Kevin?
Yeah, I can go. Madam Chair, members of the board, just wanted to update you on the STAR Act, also known as House Bill 252. The STARS Act seeks to direct increased funding to raise starting salaries using the quality education payment. To receive the increased funding, the district must show that their lowest salary in fiscal year 26 is at least 11 times the quality educator payment, or approximately $41,615. MTSBA sent out a spreadsheet to all the districts. We ran the numbers for our district, and we're close to there. So I think with negotiations and stuff, the district should be able to meet that minimum requirement, which would then qualify us to get 2 times the quality educator payment. And the quality educator payment is roughly around $4,000. So if we meet those requirements, we would get an additional $4,000. So just wanted to give you guys an update on that. And if you have any questions, whatever, I'm not sure where that bill is actually in the legislature, but if it does pass, that's kind of where the district would be.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Jonard, anything to add?
No, I think he summed it up quite well. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Mr. Bilty.
I think I know the answer, but I like to ask questions nonetheless. Kevin, the $4,000 per employee?
It would be per quality as a
Educator.
quality, yeah.
Okay.
So the calculation is based off your teachers. If you meet that calculation, then you get the quality educator bonus on your teachers, plus any other staff that have the quality educator payment. Plus we'd get a quality education payment for my position, the clerk.
Madam Chair,
Okay,
because
go
I'm a
ahead.
legislative nerd, it passed the House 93-7 and is in appropriations, past appropriations 20-2. So it's on its way to the Senate, depending on if they like each other.
Thanks, Mr. Bilteen, for the update. We appreciate that. At this time, we do have a person who would like to speak at the public comment time. So Ms. Mitchell, please.
Do I just sit right here? Or?
Sure,
Sure.
that's fine.
So I'll stand up. I'm Riley Mitchell. I'm from the Butte Native Wellness Center. I grew up in Great Falls, Montana. I graduated in 2020, but I'm a huge advocate for Native American education and representation in schools and out of schools. I'm attending Montana Tech right now, but I'm the youth program specialist at the Butte Native Wellness Center. So what we have already done in the school systems, we went to a few elementary schools and did some crafts. We met with Melissa Johnson and Mr. Metz to talk about community needs and to kind of see how we can help with the school district, because we know you guys don't always have the funding, but we have outside funding where we can come in and help support Indian education for all or different Native American students. Where you guys kind of find limitations with the title funding is you guys are only accounting for, and this is like the law, you guys only account for enrolled members, where we can help enrolled and descendant members. So they don't have to necessarily be enrolled. So we've already been in contact with the schools and stuff, but I mean, Melissa's already so busy and everything. So we just really want to make it accessible for anybody to come reach out to us and get us involved in what we can do for the students at Butte Public School. So some things we want to work for is getting senior announcements out in the papers, making them posters to recognize Native American students on graduation. We want to give them an eagle feather once they graduate and hold a ceremony for them. We want to do a Native American attendance program, substance abuse prevention, and multiple things wherever you guys see fit. One of the delays that we do have is talking to students. We really just want to assess what they need, because most of the time these students in high school are either playing sports or they have jobs. And so if we could go in and talk or have kind of communications with these students to assess what they want, whether it's a food pantry, after school grab and go food, or whatever they need, we want to fill that community need. So
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Anyone else wishing to speak on any matter not on the agenda may step forward now. Please identify yourself before you begin. I must caution anyone wishing to speak, you may not discuss personnel issues, student issues, or pending litigation during the comment session. Due to time constraints, each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes. Do we have any other public comment? And again, Ms. Mitchell, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, moving on to the consent agenda: approval of payroll, claims, budget transfers, revenue reports, travel requests, Butte High and East Middle School activity fund reports. Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Personnel action report, regular board meeting, Miss Ali.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I present to you the FAR for February 18th. On it, we are noting one leave of absence under certified personnel. Under classified, we are noting 2 appointments, 2 leave of absence, 2 resignations, 2 retirements, and 4 inactive removals. Under supplemental personnel, we are noting the appointment of 10, the resignation of 1, and 1 inactive removal. I would appreciate your approval of that February part.
Motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions of Miss Ali regarding the FAR? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Moving on now to our new business. First one is the second reading and approval of policy 2309 library materials. Ms. Jonard,
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I present policy 2309 for your approval.
motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions to Ms. Jonard regarding policy 2309? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Second reading and approval of policy 2310, selection of library material. Motion from trustees
So moved.
is second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions to Ms. Jonard regarding policy 2310? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Review and approval of deleting Form 3102 F-1 through F-8, renumbering some forms through F-8. Ms. Jonard, motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and second. Any questions for Ms. Jonard? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Review and approval of renumbering 3102 F-2 and changing some forms under policy 3141. Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second? Been moved and seconded. Any questions, Ms. Jonard, regarding these changes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Approval of MOU with Butte Silver Bow and Butte School District Number 1 press box at East Middle School. Ms. Jonard,
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'm requesting the approval of the hold harmless agreement between Butte School District and Butte Silver Bow County. The purpose of this agreement is to allow Butte Silver Bow to install an antenna on the press box roof of the Butte High Memorial Stadium. This will allow Butte Silver Bow Water Department to electronically record the water meters. Butte Silver Bow will indemnify the district of all losses and or liabilities that may occur from placing the receiver on the roof. I appreciate your time and consideration to this matter.
motion from trustees. Is there a second?
Second.
You got that one? Second, good. Any questions, Ms. Jonard, regarding the water antenna meter reading? Mr. Bilty,
Just to clarify, this doesn't give Principal Miller any extra like responsibilities or powers or anything, does it?
No.
Be him taking this to the extreme.
motion on the floor. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Approval of the Butte Pathway Charter Contract.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'm requesting the approval of the contract for the Butte Pathway Academy. The academy is between the Butte School District Board of Trustees, referred to in the contract as the Charter Governing Board, and the Board of Public Ed. It must be signed and returned to the Board of Public Ed by March 5th of 2025.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. It's been moved and seconded. Any questions to Ms. Jonard regarding the approval of the Butte Pathway Charter Contract? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Review and approval of policy 5012, sexual harassment of employees. Ms. Ali.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm bringing policy 5012, sexual harassment of employees, proposing it be amended to add the HR director's name and email.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions to Ms. Ali? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Review and approval of policy 5120 federal background checks, fingerprints, information handling, and 5120 F-5. Ms. Sally.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm bringing policy 5120 and 5120P, federal background check, fingerprint and information handling procedures. They were recently approved in January. A form needs to be added back to the policy. This form was previously 5122 F9 and is a request for dissemination of background check to the individual. The language is corrected to refer to this form and renumber it as 5120 F-5. I would appreciate your approval of this change.
Motion from trustees, so moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions to Ms. Sally regarding the change? None. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Approval of the MOU school district elections. Mr. Patrick.
Madam Chair, members of the board, attached for review and approval are the 2025 elementary and high school election resolutions calling for the election of 2 elementary trustees. Also called for are the operation and maintenance levy and a student safety and security levy for the elementary district, and operations and maintenance levy and student safety and security building reserve levy and technology levy at the high school districts. Amounts will be determined at a later time. Per 20-20-201 provides that the Board of Trustees shall call for an election at least 70 days before the date of the election. The first Tuesday following the first Monday in May shall be the regular school election. The Board of Trustees must pass a resolution calling for the 2025 regular school election by February 25th, 2025. The trustees will finalize the levy amounts on March 17th, 2025. The board has until April 4th, 2025 to cancel the election if it is determined that the election is not needed. The resolution, it includes the operational levies and the building reserves and the technology levies, just to give us the opportunity to run those levies. We're not necessarily saying that we have to run them, but we have to have them on the resolution in case we want to run them. So at a future board meeting, we'll come to the board with recommendations on what levies and amounts that we might want to pursue.
Motion from trustees? Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any more questions to Mr. Patrick? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Approval of the substitute independent speech contract. Ms. Johnson.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I'm here to ask your approval to enter an independent contract with Ms. Marni Priggy to cover one of our speech therapists who will be on maternity leave. And her term, we're asking for a contract to be 7th until our speech therapist can return.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any questions to Ms. Johnson regarding the approval of the substitute independent speech contract? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Approval to advertise and hire instructors for the 2025 driver's education program. Ms. Jonard.
Madam Chairman, members of the board, I'm requesting we go out to advertise and hire for our driver's ed program.
Motion from trustees.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Do trustees have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. At this time, I would entertain an adjournment to our regular board meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
This has been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.